Olivia had exactly 3 things planned for Valentine's Day: sweatpants, ice cream, and pretending February 14th didn't exist. What she didn't plan for was her golden retriever becoming a romantic. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's Tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Olivia pressed her face closer to the glass door. On her welcome mat sat a bouquet of flowers. Not the generic grocery store carnations, but a real arrangement. Deep red roses mixed with white peonies, delicate sprigs of baby's breath, and something purple she couldn't identify from here. The kind of bouquet that cost actual money. Charlie pawed at the door, whining. Hold on. Olivia slid the door open, and Charlie bounded onto the patio, immediately sniffing the flowers with intense interest. She followed more cautiously, glancing around the small shared courtyard. The February evening had already darkened, her patio light casting long shadows across the brick pavers. No one was there. She picked up the bouquet carefully, searching for a card. There, a small cream envelope tucked between the roses. Her name was written across it in unfamiliar handwriting. Olivia. Her heart did a stupid little flip. She immediately tried to suppress. This was probably a mistake. Wrong apartment. Or maybe her mother had sent them out of pity after Olivia had mentioned tonight's plans in passing last week. Charlie barked once, sharp and insistent, staring at the fence line that separated her patio from her neighbor's. Charlie, shoo. It's almost 9 o'clock. But Charlie wasn't listening. He trotted over the fence, tail wagging like a metronome, and barked again. Charles Robertson. I swear, Olivia used his full name, the one she'd given him as a joke. It never worked. A light flickered on next door. Through the wooden slats of the fence, she could see movement on the neighboring patio. The unit that had been empty for years until someone moved in around the holidays. She'd seen him a few times in passing. Tall, dark hair, always seemed to be carrying either coffee or architectural plans. They'd exchanged exactly one conversation, a polite, sorry about my dog, when Charlie had barked a squirrel at 6 a.m. Charlie inside. Now. Olivia grabbed his collar, mortified, and tugged him back toward her door. But Charlie had other plans. With a twist she didn't see coming, he wriggled free, darted past her, and snatched the bouquet right out of her hands with his soft retriever mouth. Before she could react, he was racing toward the fence. Charlie. No. Drop it. Charlie. Olivia lunged for her dog, but Charlie was already pawing at the gate that connected the 2 patios, a gate she'd never seen opened, probably hadn't been used in years. Except apparently it wasn't latched, because it swung open under Charlie's insistent pushing, and suddenly her golden retriever was charging into her neighbor's space, trailing flower petals and baby's breath like some kind of deranged wedding procession. Oh my God! Olivia rushed through the gate after him. I'm so sorry. Charlie, you absolute... She stopped short. Her neighbor stood on his patio, and Charlie had dropped the bouquet directly at his feet, like a retrieved duck. The man stared down at the flowers, then up at Charlie, then finally at Olivia with an expression she couldn't quite read. Surprise? Amusement? Panic? Up close. He was more handsome than she'd realized during their brief hallway encounters. Maybe early 30s. With dark eyes that crinkled slightly at the corners, a jawline that belonged in a Razor commercial, and a faded university T-shirt that suggested he'd been having his own quiet night in. I am so sorry, Olivia stammered, moving forward to grab Charlie's collar. He took the flowers, and I don't know what's gotten into him lately. He's been obsessed with this fence, and... The flowers, her neighbor said, his voice quiet. He wasn't looking at her anymore. He was looking at the bouquet. I know. He probably destroyed them. I'll pay for weight. Olivia paused, really looking at his face now. The way his hand had moved to the back of his neck. The slight flush creeping up from his collar. Did you leave these? The silence stretched between them, broken only by Charlie's happy panting. Owen, that was his name. She remembered now from the nameplate on his mailbox. Cleared his throat. I was going to knock. I had this whole plan. I was going to introduce myself properly. Say something charming about being neighbors. Maybe mention how I'd noticed you take your coffee on the patio every morning with. He gestured helplessly at Charlie, who was now sitting between them looking enormously pleased with himself. But then I chickened out and just left him there like a coward, and apparently your dog is a better wingman than I am. Olivia felt something warm unfurl in her chest. Something she'd been keeping carefully locked away since she'd washed off her makeup 2 hours ago. You left me flowers? On Valentine's Day. Was that okay? I didn't want to be creepy. I just thought you might like them, and I've been wanting to actually talk to you for weeks. And today seemed like maybe a sign, but then I realized it might seem presumptuous since we've barely spoken, and he was rambling now, one hand still on the back of his neck, and it was possibly the most endearing thing Olivia had seen in months. I got stood up tonight, she blurted out, then immediately wanted to take it back. Way to kill the moment. Olivia. But Owen's expression softened. Then he's an idiot. Olivia corrected automatically, then watched Owen's eyebrows raise slightly. I date, it doesn't matter. Yes, he was an idiot. They were, English is stupid. A smile tugged at Owen's mouth. They were definitely an idiot. He paused, then bent down to pick up the slightly disheveled bouquet, brushing off a few pieces of dirt from where Charlie had dropped it. These held up pretty well, considering Charlie has a gentle mouth. He's a retriever. It's literally his job description. Fair point. Owen held out the flowers to her again, but this time he was smiling fully, and Olivia realized she was smiling back. Hi, I'm Owen. I moved in next door 3 months ago. I'm an architect. I take my coffee black, and I think your dog has been trying to set us up for at least 2 weeks. Olivia took the bouquet, her fingers brushing his for just a second. I'm Olivia, graphic designer, coffee with way too much cream, and I'm starting to think my dog is smarter than both of us. Charlie barked once, as if in agreement. Have you eaten? Owen asked suddenly. Olivia blinked. Unless you count ice cream as dinner. What kind? Cherry Garcia. Solid choice, but not a meal. Owen hesitated for just a moment, then seemed to make a decision. I have pizza. Well, the ingredients for pizza. I was going to make one because apparently I also had no plans tonight, and cooking seemed better than wallowing. And now I'm realizing I sound like a walking red flag, inviting you over when we just met, but I promise I'm normal. Olivia supplied, amused. Was going to say harmless, but I'll take normal. His smile was self-deprecating. Look, no pressure. I can also just give you the flowers, and we can pretend this never happened and go back to awkward hallway waves. Olivia looked down at Charlie, who was now lying across both patios, his body literally bridging the space between her door and Owen's like he was trying to make a point. She thought about her empty apartment, the melted ice cream, the black dress still hanging in silent judgment. What kind of pizza? She asked. Owen's whole face brightened. What kind do you want? 20 minutes later, Olivia found herself in Owen's kitchen, which was laid out exactly like hers, but somehow felt completely different. He had actual art on the walls, architectural sketches she suspected he'd drawn himself. A bookshelf crammed with design books and fantasy novels in equal measure. A kitchen that looked actually used, not just for reheating takeout. So you just know how to make pizza dough from scratch? Olivia sat on one of his bar stools, watching him work with an ease that suggested this wasn't his first time. My abuela insisted all her grandchildren learn to cook. Said she wouldn't raise anyone who couldn't feed themselves properly. He kneaded the dough with practiced hands. What about you? Do you cook? I make excellent reservations. Olivia winced. Made. Past tense. Apparently. Owen glanced up at her, his expression gentle. Their loss. You don't even know me. I know you rescued a dog instead of buying one. I know you're patient because I've heard you training Charlie in the mornings. You never yell, even when he's being stubborn. I know you're dedicated because you work weird hours, and I can see your light on sometimes at 2 a.m. He paused, looking slightly embarrassed. That sounds creepier out loud than it did in my head. No, Olivia said softly. It sounds like you pay attention. Their eyes met across the kitchen island, and something passed between them. Something that felt like possibility. Like the beginning of a story she hadn't known she was ready to start writing. Charlie, sprawled on the kitchen floor between them, sighed contentedly. I think he approves, Owen said. He has good taste. Olivia surprised herself with her own boldness, even if his methods are unorthodox. Owen grinned. Remind me to buy him the biggest dog treat I can find. As he stretched the dough and Olivia started chopping toppings under his instruction. Badly, she admitted, but he was too polite to say so. They talked, really talked, about why she'd moved to the city, art school, then stayed for work, why he'd chosen his apartment. It was close to his firm's new office, and he'd loved the courtyard, about their families and dreams, and the weird intersection of failure and hope that was dating in your late 20s. Can I ask you something? Owen said as he slid the pizza into the oven. Sure. Why did you look so sad? Earlier, when I saw you through the fence, before Charlie went rogue. Olivia considered deflecting, but something about the way he asked, genuinely curious, not pitying, made her answer honestly. Because I let myself hope. I know that sounds dramatic, but I've been so careful the last year, keeping things casual, not expecting too much. And tonight, I thought maybe I was ready to try again, really try, and then she shrugged. Universe said no. Or, Owen said carefully, the universe said not with them. That's optimistic. I'm an architect. We're professionally optimistic. Every building starts as an empty lot and a dream. He pulled 2 beers from his fridge, offered her one. Besides, if they hadn't canceled, you wouldn't be here right now, with me. And honestly, I've been trying to figure out how to talk to you since January. January? Owen, it's February. Yeah, and I spent all of January being a coward. He leaned against the counter, sheepish. Every morning I'd see you on your patio and think, today I'll introduce myself properly. And then I'd freeze up and go to work instead. Olivia couldn't help but laugh. So you decided anonymous flowers were less scary than conversation? In my defense, it seemed romantic in theory. It was romantic, Olivia admitted, even if my dog ruined your dramatic gesture. I don't know. Owen looked down at Charlie, then back at her with a smile that made her stomach flutter. I think it worked out pretty well. The oven timer beeped, and as Owen pulled out a genuinely impressive-looking pizza, Olivia realized something. She stopped thinking about the canceled date entirely. Stopped feeling sorry for herself. For the first time in hours, maybe months, she felt like herself again, the version who believed in possibility. Hey, Owen, she said as he cut the pizza. Yeah, I'm really glad Charlie stole those flowers. His answering smile could have lit the whole apartment. Me too. They finished the pizza somewhere around 11. By midnight, they'd migrated to Owen's couch with Charlie sprawled across both their feet, talking about everything and nothing. Olivia learned that Owen had moved to the city for a fresh start after relationship ended. Amicably, he insisted, but it still hurt. That he sketched buildings obsessively when he was anxious. That he'd notice her not just in the mornings, but on her bad days too, when she'd sit on the patio staring at nothing, and he'd wish he had the courage to ask if she was okay. I thought you were with someone, Owen admitted. You always seemed so self-contained. Happy on your own. I figured someone that put together probably had their life sorted. Olivia nearly snorted beer through her nose. Put together? Owen, I wore the same sweater 3 days in a row last week because laundry felt too hard. Yeah, but you made it look intentional, like a style choice. It's called depression chic. Well, you wear it well. He said it so sincerely that Olivia didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Instead, she found herself leaning closer, her shoulder brushing his. Can I tell you something embarrassing? Please do. I left you anonymous flowers and ran away. The bar is low. I noticed you too, in January. I saw you moving in, and I thought you were attractive, and then I immediately talked myself out of even considering it, because what kind of disaster hits on her neighbor? That's a sitcom setup, not real life. And yet here we are, Owen said quietly, living the sitcom, with a dog as our matchmaker. Every good sitcom needs a breakout character. He glanced down at Charlie, who had started snoring. Think he's accepting royalties? Olivia checked her phone, 12:47 a.m. Technically not Valentine's Day anymore, which somehow made this feel even better. Not a holiday romance, but something real, something that started messy and awkward and utterly human. I should probably go, she said, not moving. Probably. Owen agreed, also not moving. It's late, very late, and we have to live next to each other. We should be sensible. Extremely sensible. Owen turned to face her fully, and suddenly they were very close, his dark eyes searching hers. Olivia? Yeah, I really want to kiss you right now, but I also don't want to mess this up by moving too fast. So I need you to tell me what you want. Her heart was pounding so hard she was certain he could hear it. I want to stop being so careful all the time. I want to stop protecting myself from things that might hurt because I'm so busy avoiding pain that I'm missing everything else. She took a breath. And yes, I want you to kiss me. Owen's smile was soft and a little nervous and absolutely perfect. Just to be clear, this isn't a rebound thing? Because your date canceled? Owen, I forgot about that date 3 hours ago. Olivia reached up, her fingers brushing his jaw. This is me, choosing this. Choosing you. Choosing to be brave for once, even if it's terrifying. It is terrifying, he whispered, leaning in. But also maybe worth it? Definitely worth it, she breathed, and then he was kissing her. It wasn't like the movies, not perfectly choreographed or swelling with orchestral music. It was tentative at first, then deeper, his hand coming up to cup her face while her fingers tangled in his hair. It tasted like pizza and beer and possibility, and when they finally broke apart, both slightly breathless, Olivia was smiling so hard her cheeks hurt. Charlie chose that moment to wake up and bark once, making them both jump. I think that's his way of saying he approves, Owen said, laughing. Or he needs to go out. Could be both. Olivia stood reluctantly, and Owen walked to the patio door, the one that connected their spaces, the gate that Charlie had opened earlier still standing ajar like an invitation. So, Owen said, catching her hand, tomorrow, well, today technically, are you free? For coffee? Or breakfast? Or just more of this? I have a deadline at 3, Olivia said, but I'm free until then. And after, if you want to brave my cooking instead of yours, I'll bring ingredients. We can make it together. That sounds perfect. She squeezed his hand, then called for Charlie, who reluctantly heaved himself up from Owen's couch. At the threshold between their patios, Owen pulled her back for one more kiss, quick and sweet. Thank you for giving me a chance. Even if your dog had to drag you here. Thank you for the flowers. Even if you were too scared to knock. She grinned. We make quite a pair. Yeah, Owen said softly, watching her cross back into her own space with Charlie trotting beside her. I think we really do. Olivia paused at her door, looking back. Owen was still standing there, backlit by his kitchen light, looking at her like she was something precious he couldn't quite believe he'd found. Hey, Owen. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Even if it's technically over. His smile was radiant. Best one I've ever had. As Olivia got ready for bed, actually brushing her teeth instead of just collapsing like she planned hours ago, she caught sight of the black dress still hanging on her door. But this time it didn't feel like a monument to disappointment. It felt like a reminder that sometimes the best moments came from the unexpected detours, the plans that fell apart to make room for something better. Charlie settled onto his bed with a satisfied groan, and Olivia could swear he looked smug. You're getting extra treats tomorrow, she told him. You magnificent meddling furball. His tail thumped twice against his bed. Olivia turned off the light and crawled into bed, her phone already showing a text notification. Owen. Still can't believe tonight happened. Sleep well, neighbor. She typed back, best Valentine's disaster ever. See you in the morning. And for the first time in a long time, Olivia Chung went to sleep on February 14th genuinely happy. with her dog snoring softly in the corner and the promise of coffee with a handsome architect when she woke up. Sometimes, she thought as she drifted off, the best love story started with stolen flowers and a very good dog. And that's how Olivia's worst Valentine's Day turned into her best one, all thanks to a golden retriever with impeccable timing and a neighbor who was brave enough to leave flowers, even if he was too nervous to knock. Sometimes love finds us in the most unexpected ways, not through perfect dinner reservations or carefully planned dates, but through open gates, stolen bouquets, and the courage to say yes when life offers us a second chance. Charlie knew what he was doing all along. After all, the best wingmen have 4 legs and unconditional love in their hearts. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had plans fall apart only to have something better happen instead? Maybe a canceled date, a missed flight, or a change of plans that led you to meet someone special. Or, better yet, has a pet ever played matchmaker in your life? Share your stories in the comment below. I love reading about real-life moments that feel like they belong in a story. And if you enjoyed Olivia, Owen, and Charlie's tale, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Mr. Bryan Tales for more heartwarming stories every week. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. And remember, sometimes the best chapters of our lives are the ones we never planned to write. Until next time, this is Mr. Bryan Tales reminding you that magic happens when we're brave enough to open the gate. See you in the next story. Happy Valentine's Day.